Welcome to another episode of Coffee with the County. Today we are here with Brenda Butterfield, who is our Aiken County Childcare Licenser. Is that the official title that Brenda has? Or
That is the title that I have. I actually license all homes in the county for foster care, for child and foster care, community residential settings, and childcare.
So we're talking about at-home childcare today, not childcare centers, but
family childcare.
Family childcare. But first, let's start, Brenda. Who are you, and how long have you been here with the county, and where did you come from?
I have been with the county. It'll be 26 years in February of this year. I have worked my first 5 years in the county as financial worker, and then I transitioned over to social services. I was in child protection for 16 years, and I've been in licensing since 2020.
Wow, that's a long time here at the county. Thank you for serving that long here with us. Have you always lived in Aiken County, or are you a transplant into Aiken County?
I grew up on the range. I graduated from Greenway High School, and then I lived in the metro area for many years. Relocated up here in around 1996 and have stayed here since.
That's great. Thanks for doing that. So tell me a little bit about family childcare and our situation in Aiken County. I know that I have some experience dealing with childcare through economic development, but you are the expert in our childcare world. How are we doing in our family childcare in Aiken County?
So currently we have 17 licensed family homes. We will be having one that will retire this coming summer. We have one that's currently in application, kind of averaging out, staying at that 17 for the most part mark. Can we always use more? Absolutely. There's a nationwide shortage of infant spots. That's always a crisis. Daycares are only allowed to have a certain amount of infants in their care at one time, and we often get calls of people looking for those tough to fill or tough to find spots.
I was actually I heard, and I can't remember where I heard it, but there was like a advertisement that there was a family childcare in the Onamia area that had an opening for an infant spot coming up in May, and they were already saying, get your names in if you want to be part of that. There's like huge waiting lists for this kind of stuff. And from 17 childcare facilities here, does that still give us a shortage of childcare slots? You mentioned we could always use more. Are we in dire need of more? Are we in okay shape from a county standpoint?
I think we're still in need. There are companies that are pulling people back from remote work, and people are finding it hard to find spots for children. People are getting put on the wait list. Many daycares, some people are using relatives to fill that gap until they find a spot. So absolutely, I think we can always use more daycare providers.
Yeah. Is it difficult to get started?
I don't feel that it's difficult. There are certain trainings that have to be completed. There's home inspections that happen, a fire marshal inspection just to assure that the house is up to code. We work with you pretty closely on making sure that you get the trainings that you need. We walk them through the process. I kind of go hand in hand with them to get whatever they need. We help them find resources for any grants that might be out there. It's a pretty self-led process. So if they're willing to take the reins and get things done, it can be from start to finish anywhere from 2 to 3 months.
Okay, so that's not bad timing throughout there that it takes. And you mentioned you're with them along the way and step by step with them, which is something that we're very fortunate to have a county childcare licenser here with us. And, you as the expert in that field can guide the new folks in there. So listeners, if you have any interest in understanding what it's going to take to become a childcare provider, to license your home for childcare, get a hold of Brenda. Brenda, how do they get a hold of you?
They can call Aiken County Health and Human Services at 218-927-7200, and they will connect you with me.
Please do that if you're out there in the neighborhood and want to do some different childcare things. Tell me a little bit about what exactly it is that you do as a licenser.
So typically when I get an application, we open a case, and then I make contact with the person to set up an initial home visit. I do an orientation with them of what's required, what trainings need to be done, do a tour of the home, talk about the fire marshal inspection, and then make that referral. During that period of time while we're waiting for the fire marshal, they're working on trainings, setting up their space, Once all that is completed, then I go back out for my second home visit and kind of make sure everything is up to code, that they're ready, the toys are set up, we check cots, cribs, everything like that, and then if everything is good, then we recommend licensure.
Yeah, nice. You guide them through, and they have to do the work, obviously, just like anything else, but then as you guide them through, that helps them get prepared for it. And you mentioned grants earlier. We've been fortunate at the county that we've been able to take advantage of some opportunities of grants, but those don't come around every day. How else does a person that might need to have a little bit of startup cash, where would they find that type of project?
So we partner with Northland Foundation as well, and then Childcare Aware, Parent Aware has grants twice a year. It's a pretty competitive process with theirs because it's statewide versus Northland is more regional. So those are the main two that we partner with. Children's First Finance sometimes has opportunities as well, and they do offer classes.
So you help them through that, guiding them through that area to find those grants and all of that as well?
Yep, we give them the name of contact people to be in touch with.
And then you also mentioned training. I'm positive there's a ton of training and classes and licensing, things that have to go on with a new child care provider. Tell me a little bit about that. How do you fit into any kind of training with the group?
So they are required to complete a certain amount of training that's very specific as a new provider. So they finish those trainings online through a website called Develop. And then once they have completed those initial trainings, every year after that, they're required to have 16 annual hours of training. They are required to have certain trainings in certain areas, so like supervision, developmental, behavioral, SUID and AHT, which is abusive head trauma. And then they're required to have CPR and first aid, pediatric and adult, which is usually good for 2 years. If they plan to transport, they have to do a car seat training as well, which is typically good for 5 years once they take that training. If they have any helpers or substitutes or a second adult caregiver, they are also required to take some trainings, and everyone is also required to have a background check.
You know, I ask these questions and you have all the answers. So if you're out there listening and you're interested in childcare, remember that Brenda has all the answers to give you, or can help you find the answers. That's more important. But just having a person there doing that hard work, I really appreciate that. I know that I was trying to get you to take a little credit for your training aspect. You are directly involved with a lot of our childcare providers, and I was witness to a training that you had where you brought all of the childcare providers in to go over new rules, new legislation, new whatever it might be. So I give you a lot of credit in what you're doing, and our childcare providers in Aiken County are lucky to have you here with them. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to cover today?
Not that I can think of, but be in touch with me if you're interested.
Yeah, please call Brenda if you're interested in that, and she can help you through. Brenda, I would love to have you come back at any time if anything comes up on new trainings that you want to get the message out for, anything like that. Please come back and visit us, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
You're listening to Coffee with the County.